So this is the Old Gully down by the train tracks. This is right by where Harrison Street used to be. It's now called First Avenue. They attached it, I think, back in the early 70s. So Harrison and First Avenue became First Avenue. And we used to hang out in the gully here, hang out and drink beer and crawl underneath the train tracks. There's a water pipe that runs through. But you see, this time of year, it's very tough to get through. Here is, now I'm facing where the train tracks are, and right through all this underbrush, that's a pipe. And the pipe goes underneath the railroad tracks, and what we would do is we would crawl underneath there when the train was coming. Kind of dumb things to do when you're a kid, but this is how we spent our time. We didn't have a whole lot of video games. There wasn't too much to do in the summer, so we would go and hang out at 7-Eleven, convince somebody to buy us beer, and they would. And then we'd come back here and drink our beer and hang out and make out with our girlfriends. And so I'm just going to walk back up to the train tracks and just show you exactly where this is. Looks pretty cool. And you know, everything is pretty much the same, except for the gully is a little less washed out than it usually is. Excuse me, than it was when I was a kid. And but I'll stop back here when the winter is here and there isn't as much foliage. And so I'm just going to walk through this brush to get to the railroad tracks. And I think, here we go. We're going to go right through here. And I'm coming through. And then, oh! And then here's the railroad tracks. Whoops! Okay, and here it is. Then on the left is 6th Avenue. I forget the name of this road right over here, but let me walk down a little bit. I just want to show you, that's the train station. And then here are the railroad tracks, like a bunch of potato heads. What we would often do is put coins on the tracks and let them squish together. That was another fun thing. You wouldn't want to do that now because you have video games and other things to keep yourselves occupied as kids. But sometimes we put one coin on top of another and squish them together. Okay, so now here's, I forget the name of this road right here. I guess I'll see the sign. I think the Sowers live on the right here. I think they still have, I think they still live here. And then right across the street was Mathis Auto Parts. That's not there anymore. They used to have, there's been quite a few stores there. There's a pizza place, a deli, a few other things. And but Mathis was the only auto parts store in town, and for a long time. And you would go there until the big box stores and the big chains came in, and it put them and a lot of other family businesses out of business, and it turned people from being business owners to being employees. You know, I understand here's Steve preaching. I understand the importance of being more efficient with distribution channels and all, but you lose something about small town America when you when our small businesses go away and our main streets become ghost towns. You know, even now I walk down Main Street, a lot of the businesses are empty, and you know, I guess it's progress, but I think I'm missing it. And then here is, I'm not sure if the Sowers own this. I'm not sure who owns this, but this is like a lawn and garden. They often do stuff around Christmas time where they have Christmas trees and other things. And here we are on Palaski Road, and good old Celtic Crossing, formerly Teague's. That's a pretty cool place. Had more than a few malted beverages there now. And then right across the street, I think it's a BP station now. And years ago, it was also a gas station. I remember when it blew up. There was some event in town. A few teenagers were hurt, and a lot of the firemen were across the street in Teague's there, and they had to run across the street to help the kids. You know, there are a lot of rumors about how the fire was started. Some things that they were smoking cigarettes and washing the floor with gasoline and all this stuff. I don't know. Maria she could give a little bit more information on. She sent me a few emails, and I'm pretty sure what she says is probably right. But now, just a little old gas station. And so now we're just walking down Pulaski a little bit more, and then we'll get to there in a little bit. But on the corner up ahead, on the right, was the good old Longhorn Grill. I think it's called Relish. I think the Browns and another family own that. And then to the left, for a long time, was Blue Jays. And then Bohacks was across the street. And I remember when I was a kid, Blue Jays was really, unless you wanted to go into Smithtown, Bohacks was starting to get old then. Like, they didn't have they had the old-fashioned registers, and they didn't have the belts that moved the groceries. You know how they have belts, you put it on it. They had these slides where they manually slid the groceries when you went to check out. And so a lot of people would go to Blue Jays. And at that time, it was called a supermarket, and now it's the bakery. But if you take a look at the size, it's pretty much the same size, but that was a supermarket. Now you walk into Stop and Shop, and this isn't even the size of the greeting area where they have the carts. Okay, so no, I was going to cross the street. So now this is First Avenue, but if we look down First Avenue, I'm going to give a shot down here. Look down First Avenue here. This part of First Avenue was called Harrison, up until where you went over the railroad tracks, and then First Avenue started. First Avenue didn't start till after the Crowley's house, because there was a gully in front of the Crowley's house and the roads weren't connected. But when they dug out the road, they connected them, so the two streets were connected, and they had to name it one name, so they didn't keep on going. And then we're going by Jim's house, Jim Paradine. Big Jim, we went fishing with him the other night. Him and his son Ryan. Corey is at the academy, the police academy, and he's going to be a New York City police officer. And hey Jim, it was good fishing with you the other night. Yeah, just doing a walkthrough. I have my stuff at the laundromat, so I have an hour to kill. Who's that? Hey Herc, how you doing? I see you and Big Jim walking all the time. I know, you have to earn a living. Make it like you're barking, right? Peace, brother. Hey Corey. Hey Lou, how you doing? How's the academy? Oh, you look great. You look great.
Thanks.
Hey Lou, it's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too.
Good to see you. Let me give you a hug. How you doing? Peace, brother.
Dad, don't jump. Dad, stay down.
Where's Ryan today?
Just went out.
All right.
It's all good.
Time to go to the laundromat. We have to wash our comforter at least once a year, so today's the day. So I'll see you later. Good seeing you, Lou.
The dog can go on, right? The dog.
Exactly. No, you got that right, Jimmy.
I'll see you later.
See you later, brother. All right, so now we're walking down. See, here's the bake shop. That was Blue Jays, and that was the supermarket. That was the modern supermarket that was replacing Bohacks. Bohacks was in town for a very long time. They were down the block, right across the street from Dowling's gas station for a while. And then right over here is Relish, and this was the Longhorn Grill. From what I hear, I haven't eaten here yet, but from what I hear, it's an excellent place. It really is good. The Longhorn was different because at 2 a.m. you get a hamburger at a time when not many places were open at 2 a.m. And I like the pictures of the Longhorn that we have, because they are really cool. It's like very retro looking, at least now today. And then right across the street is Cafe Red, and for a long time that was Bob's Luncheonette. And people would come here on Sundays often. They would visit their family members who either worked or lived at the state hospital, and they would come down here and they'd have lunch at Bob's Luncheonette. And Red, I've eaten here too. They have a great truffle pasta thing that Karen, there's Karen, silent Karen. Karen's been tolerating my filming, and she loves that. Right, sweetie, like the truffles? Yeah. And then here is the church. This is one of the oldest churches in Kings Park. I mean, I think, I'm not sure the date. I think St. Joseph's, the earlier incarnations of St. Joseph's is older. I think it's 1886. I forget. They have a stone out front. But right here is the steeple. And I want to see if I could get in the steeple. I want to see if I could get in the steeple and take some pictures of Kings Park. But I have to wait until the spring. Until the fall or winter, because the tree, you see how many trees there are here, and it blocks the sunlight and it blocks me from being able to see things. So I'd like to get that. And as I was saying, we have to get our comforter that we put in the laundromat. And this laundromat is cool because for a short time, I guess in the 70s, it was like an arcade. Like there was flea markets were a big thing back then. So it was like a little flea market, and it was an arcade, and we all hung out here, smoked cigarettes, and got into fights and doing things that Kings Parkers do. And right across the street here, this Tech Automotive, I think this used to be called Mighty Motors, and they did like dyno tuning on the cars for racing. And then Karen's gonna go into the laundromat and check on the laundry, but I just want to walk down here because the anchor of Kings Park is just right ahead here. But as we're walking, okay, there's the physical therapy and Leopold and Sons. That's Yvonne and John Vanderslavsky. And John's a great guy. Old Kings Parker. Well, actually, maybe technically a Smithtowner, but his beautiful wife was a nurse in the hospital. And Yvonne, she's the best. She takes care of a lot of people's taxes in town, including mine. And then here are the flags that the vets put out. They put it out for the holidays. Definitely Labor Day, Memorial Day, and Veterans Day, 4th of July. I think it's American Legion. Hans Richter did it for many years. He may still be doing it now. And then finally, we're going to end our walk here at what I call the anchor of Kings Park. Well, I call the anchor, what is generally known as the anchor of Kings Park, the good old beer distributor, but as we say, the BD. And this was actually a gas station. I remember when I was a kid, they would actually have gas pumps out front. And I don't know if there's any sign of the gas pumps. The gas pumps were right here. Right here. And then this is the good old BD. Those of you a little nostalgic, I just love discount beverages. All really good. And then that's about it. That's Dr. Gentile's. That's where Dr. Foy, I'll remember in a minute. But that's where my dentist was for years. I know I'm gonna get in big trouble for not remembering. But here's a good look around Kings Park, right on the corner here. And some things change a lot, some things don't, and just love Kings Park. Oh, and right across the street, that was a used car lot, and now it's a lawn and garden center. And Dr. Tiernan, old Doc Tiernan, yes. Now, see, it takes a few times for me to remember these things. Yes, it's old Doc Tiernan, and he's a good guy. He's still in town. He wrote a book on Main Street in Kings Park. He's a good man, and I have to get back in touch with a lot of people from the museum. A lot of old Kings Parkers love the history, love our town. So that's it. I think my wife probably has the comforter and the dryer by now, so I avoided the work and back to pretend I'm doing something. Have a great day, folks.